Hello, friends and beautiful people. So I debated on whether or not to do this video because I wasn't really sure how well received it would be. A lot of people are doing similar videos, and I thought, do we really need one more? But I want to talk to you about top 10 or so ways that you can save money now that things, wallets are getting a little thinner and budgets are getting a little tighter. So some of these things we do, some of them we want to do, and I'll go into more specifics. Um, Aside from the normal, I mean, these are in no way a top 10, these are just an additional 10. And aside from the normal, cutting your heat down a little bit, turning off lights when you're not in a room, I didn't want to do anything like that, but it's still kind of those common sense items. So one of the things that we do here, we've tried to practice for a while, is we cut our use of disposables. We don't use paper plates, paper towels. The kids hate it, but it's just not something that we like to do. Now there are a few things I will use paper towels for when I clean the wood burner glass, because that's such a disgusting mess. And that's not something I want to try to wash out of a wash rag. I do use paper towels for that. And I, just take a wet paper towel, dip it into the ash, and use the ash to scrub down the glass, and it makes everything come off. I don't know if you've ever done that or not, but it's pretty cool. Another thing that you can do, which is hard for me, this is something I'm working on, is switching from soda to iced tea. Soda here is about, I think, $10, 24 pack on sale. And I have to have my one Pepsi a day usually. Now I am trying to cut that back. We've started doing a lot of sweet tea, and I just try to keep that made up in the fridge, and it kind of works most of the time. Sometimes not so much. But that is one thing that I am working on. Another thing is that we buy ingredients if we're buying things. And when we process ingredients. We don't buy processed foods. So rather than buying mac and cheese, I either make or buy the pasta, and then I make my own cheese sauce for it. What you're going to find is you're going to get a lower sodium count from that, and it's also going to taste better. Trust me. I don't buy like pre-made pizzas. We make our own. We like them better. And I've actually spoiled Hubs on them. Now he has an expectation that whenever we have pizza, that we're making that from scratch. And the same thing when I am doing my canning, when we are bringing in the garden, I can individual items. So I will can, do a jar of carrots, a jar of potatoes, a jar of, whatever. And then if I want to make chicken pot pie, I'm grabbing a jar of chicken, a jar of potatoes, a jar of carrots, and you get the point. But it makes it more versatile. Otherwise, you've got a can of, let's say, you've got a jar of beef stew on your shelf. Well, if you didn't have that as beef stew and you did that as the beef, the carrots, and the potatoes, you can use the beef for more than one thing. Like we do barbecued beef, we do fajitas, or it's more like a carnita. But we're able to do a lot more things with the beef rather than just having the beef stew. I do make some beef stew and keep it on the shelf, but not all beef stew. And I do that just because when I travel, I like for Hubs to be able to just grab a jar and know that he's going to eat something healthy rather than some of the things that he's told me he eats, which would drive me through the roof. And just segueing right into that, we cook. We don't eat out for the most part. When we have been doing showings on the house, a lot of times those will hit at a time when it's going to mess with dinner or lunch plans or whatever. We will grab. We have a new Chipotle here, and that's my thing. A lot of times though, we will make our own Chipotle here. I've got black beans that I can. I've got, we've got plenty of rice here. I've got the beef in the jar, or the pork in the jar, or the chicken in the jar, and we're able to just make our own. And it actually tastes better, except for I'm working on that spicy salsa because I love that. Another thing, speaking of which, is I can dry beans. For what you pay for one jar of canned beans at the store, you can actually buy a bag of dry beans and do 7 quart jars out of that same bag. So that saves us a lot of money. And again, we're not having to worry about having, if we lose power, having water saved up to can those jars with, um, and eating into our water supply. We already have some beans jarred up, and I do everything from pinto beans that I will use to either make pinto beans, or I actually will do some pinto beans in a pint and use that to make refried beans. So when we have Mexican night, I can throw together refried beans in 2 minutes. Turn off the TV. TVs use a lot of power, and there's nothing on there but junk anyway. So we watch TV. Don't get me wrong, but our lives have been a lot better since we cut the cable. We got rid of. We had Spectrum here. We got rid of it. We're saving about $150 a month by doing that, and we are spending more time together doing other things. We have an extensive DVD library because we don't go out to movies. We have our own quote unquote movie nights, which is another one of the things on my list. We buy a DVD for what it would cost maybe one or two, maybe both of us to go to the movies, but then we make our own popcorn and we're able to pause if we have to tinkle, or we're able to suit it around our schedule, not a movie theater schedule. We don't have to go into town. We don't have to pay for the gas. We don't have to listen to the screaming teenagers that are sitting in front of us being vulgar. So we do like to do our own movie nights, and we even like some of the ones that we keep on hand for the grands, especially the Minions. I love the Minions. Anyway, but that's another thing. And so by having our own movie nights and by making our own, that's another way that we're saving money. Pay off debt. This is one that requires a lot of self-discipline. It's when Hubs and I first got married, he was paying alimony to his first wife. We were living paycheck to paycheck. It was brutal. And I had a car payment. I don't remember if he had a car payment or not, but we had a lot of bills. And so what we have done is we started with the smallest one. We paid it off, sort of Dave Ramsey style, but not really. And we are down to just a mortgage. And we take some money every month and we stick it into a savings account, knowing that eventually we're going to have to buy another vehicle. And we probably won't buy a brand new vehicle. We'll probably buy used again because we like not having any payments. We love that. It also helps, we're watching as this recession's hitting and a lot of layoffs are coming, and we don't have to be concerned that we have bills that might not be paid. And that's, it takes, when friends invite us out to dinner and we tell them no, it's hard to do. It's hard to say, oh, we're on a really tight budget. So we, stuck with oh, I'm sorry, we have other plans, which wasn't a lie. It wasn't even really a fiblet because we do have other plans. We plan to save money and get out of debt and stay out of debt. So we don't go, it's another reason why we don't go out to eat. Once you get that freedom feeling where you actually have money that you can do things with, whether it's to buy chickens or or whatever your guilty pleasure is, you would be amazed how much joy that brings you to just not have that heavy weight on your shoulders. And once we get that mortgage paid off, which was, the plan if we get this Amish farm, was we were to be debt free. So, and that would be no mortgage. And I can't imagine what that life would be like, but I digress. The other thing that you can do is learn to garden. I know that a lot of people now are enjoying just buying things at the grocery store and canning them and preserving them, or buying them at farmers markets. But you have to have that forethought. What happens if those things aren't there for you? And we're seeing more and more of that with fertilizer shortages and all these things that are going on in the world around us. I think it's something that we need to plan for, because I don't think there's going to be maybe as many people participating in the farmers markets, or the prices are going to be high. Why not just learn to do it yourself? And you can grow the things you eat and eat the things you grow, save the seeds, do it all again. And your food cost goes down to, very minimal. Another thing that we find important that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is preventative maintenance. And that can be anything from your furnace filter, making sure that you're changing that all the time, vacuuming out your ducts yourself, um, checking batteries, oil changes on your vehicle, oil changes on your mowers, oil changes on tractors or things like that. Making sure you sharpen your blades in the winter when you're not using it, greasing and oiling, all those things, keeping your tools in good condition. All those things that you can do as far as a preventative maintenance is going to extend the life of your tools. And those tools can be anything from a vehicle to a furnace. So preventive maintenance is a very high priority for us. Another thing that we do is, and I told you, we do the movie night thing. I actually will even go buy the movie size candies. They have them for like $1 a piece. It's a splurge for us. But I will grab Hubs those big boxes of his favorite candies. And usually I can get him to wait until movie night to snack on them unless he has a toothache. Every once in a while he gets a toothache and his sweet tooth hurts. So there's that. And then another thing that the last thing I'd like to talk about is buying. There's buying what we want and there's buying what we need. And we are, especially now, trying to focus on only buying those things that we need and determining if it's truly a need or just a want can be something that's up for discussion around here sometimes. If it's something that's going to make our lives easier and make us more productive, then we might slide it over into the need pile. But we just are really careful about watching our spending. Um, when I cook, I'm used to cooking for a little more than just the two of us. So we have dinner one night, and then the next night or the next day for lunch, we eat at a place called Leftover Louie's. And we are very good and intentional about making sure that we are eating up those leftovers and not wasting food. I saw an interesting stat the other day that um, people in the United States waste 1/3 of the food items that they buy. And Lordy day, I hope that we don't fall into that. And I again, we cook a lot from scratch, and I try to use up absolutely everything I can. If I see something is close, I will either, if I can't come up with a recipe right then for it, I will dehydrate it, I will can it, or I will freeze it. I will try to make sure I do everything possible to not let that food go to waste. So I hope this helps you. Like I said, I know that there's a lot of videos like this out there, but I think it's important, especially right now when our budgets are tight. So until next time, friends, be blessed and be a blessing.